Chants of impeach SCOTUS and My Body, My Choice are filling Washington, D.C. streets today as women demand that their reproductive rights be safeguarded in all 50 states. Participants of the Women's March have reached the White House in what's being called Women's Summer of Rage. I'm joined now by the executive director of the Women's March, Rachel O'Leary-Carmona. Rachel, welcome. The president signed an executive order on Friday. Here's an abbreviated look at what the order does. It expands access to emergency contraception, ramps up outreach and public education, efforts on abortion, increases privacy for consumers and patients, and protects mobile clinics. Now, you're still protesting the president today. In your eyes, has the president done enough? What more is there to do?
We're calling on President Biden to continue to step into his leadership role on this issue so that he can be our champion. And what we're looking for here is a continued path towards executive orders that moves towards his whole of government commitment that he made in September of last year. That would also include some more specificity about the commitments that he made, and then also some details around the FDA approvals, abortion on federal lands, exploration. And basically, we understand, we're realists. We understand that there are limits to the president's power, but we do want him to go up to the limit of that power.
Well, he went a little bit there. The president had some harsh words for the Supreme Court. Here, let's take a listen to what he said.
A patient comes into an emergency room in any state in the union. She's expressing and experiencing life-threatening miscarriage. But the doctor is going to be so concerned about being criminalized for treating her, they delay treatment to call the hospital lawyer, who is concerned the hospital will be penalized if the doctor provides the life-saving care. It's outrageous. I don't care what your position is. It's outrageous, and it's dangerous.
So, Rachel, the president can't overturn a decision of the Supreme Court, by signing an executive order for reproductive rights. It's also a significant political risk for the president. So what more do you think the president can do? I know you mentioned federal lands legislation or something like that, but how does he work in this space where he's caught literally between, your protests on the streets and the Supreme Court on the other side?
Well, listen, we're not expecting him to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Again, we're realists. We understand that this is a long fight, and we are entrenched and ready to make that fight. And what we're looking for from the Biden administration is to meet us in that struggle. And so, the best time to have a plan would have been years ago when it was clear that this was the Republicans' vision, or months, years and months ago when Trump packed the Supreme Court in order to bring this plan to fruition. Or 60 days ago when the leak happened, or 2 weeks ago when the decision itself dropped. But the fact is that barring all of that, the next best day is today, and so we would like to see continued use of the bully pulpit, continued pressure on the Democrats, continued executive orders. And so what happened on Friday, we want to see that happening every day. And we want to see progressive steps moving forward so that we can get to a place where abortion is as protected as possible, and we have a clear vision from the administration about how we are going to get those rights back.
You talk about planning, and that's an excellent point. You've got CVS, Rite Aid, and Amazon all reporting massive increases in sales for Plan B emergency contraceptives. People in every state are starting to stock up. There's a general interest among Republicans to do something more nationally about abortion. So how concerned are you about the potential for a national abortion ban, and what planning steps do you think will be necessary to confront that?
I'm very concerned about a national abortion ban and the GOP's efforts to get there, which I think is also something that we should be concerned about more deeply as it pertains to democracy. 80% of the American people did not want Roe versus Wade overturned. And so this is the action of a number of right-wing extremists who aren't even being responsive to the needs and wishes of their own party. That's 80% of Americans, not 80% of Democrats. And so I think that we all need to be very concerned concerned. We all need to be very concerned about the other signals that the Supreme Court gave in the decision that lets folks know that they're coming for LGBT rights, marriage equality, perhaps even birth control. And so I think that, having a cohesive plan, both from the streets all the way up to, the Hill and the White House, is critical. For us, we're looking to build political power, electoral power, and economic power, and we will deliver consequences on all three of those lines for anyone who's not with us.
Rachel Leary-Carmona, thank you very much for being with us tonight. After the break, we're heading to Highland Park, Illinois, where people are gathering for a rally to honor the victims of Monday's shooting and to demand an end to gun violence, how the community is coping with the tragedy, and the new information we're learning about the suspect's access to guns. Stay with us.